Tick tock. You want to get docked?
We're live.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
We're pre-live.
Pre-live. This is the Bob and Brad Show. We're doing a live program today, and you are very much welcome. Tell your friends, family, and everyone you can think of to join in, because we got some wonderful exercises, yes, believe it or not, that you should not do, or you may be doing some wrong that may be hurting your body versus helping it. So this will be very helpful for all and one. What do you say, Mike?
I say there's 14 minutes and 14, 13, 12 seconds left until we're going.
Right. It's a wonderful day here in Minnesota. Recently, we've got 3-4 inches of rain, so the grass is well watered, warm and humid. It will grow, so get the lawnmowers out. Do not use your rider lawnmower. Use your push lawnmower so you get a little better exercise, good walking, a little resistance.
What if they have like acres to mow? I mean,
well, that's their problem. I got the same situation. Yeah, the lawn is so wet I cannot get out there anyways because I need boots. So
what are we? So someone asked about what the prize is. We don't even know what the prize is, because our background team is in charge of figuring out the prize and contacting the winner and giving it away. But I could tell you it is not used socks. So.
Yeah, I understand. Everyone wants to know, but that's how this is going to run, because it's okay.
And spamming the comment section with randomness will not help. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
They do. Bring the noise.
Yeah, where are you? Well, we didn't know where some people are from. I'm not seeing it. Well, I see the bring the noise person. Wow.
Is it possible to see the late Bob's montage? Well, that video is currently being worked on. So we will let you know when the montage is ready.
We should have a contest to see if anybody can start from our first video 14 years ago and watch every single one and then get a super prize.
Yeah, I don't know how they would track that. I guess we'd have to look in the analytics somehow.
Right. So what else we have to say? Here we go. We got some people.
Nancy's from Maine. Diane is from New Hampshire. Territory Rangers from California. Ireland.
Margarita, I'm sorry, but you're from, where'd that go? It moved up. I think she is from, Sweden. Yeah, I really like to get to Sweden. All those.
Sue says hi, guys. Jane says information. Diana's from
Philomena
Missouri.
from Ireland. Nice. I like that name. It's like my grandmother's name.
Hi, Audrine from Jamaica. Oh, what time is it in Jamaica?
Beth from Washington, yes.
Orange County, California.
Melinda. Well, I forgot where it scrolls up, you know. I got to get the ones at the bottom. Then I have time to read. Sorry, Melinda. Idaho.
We will.
Sharon from Texas. Renee from Texas. Oh, yeah, Renee from Texas.
Can I get my document up?
Oh. Yes, and if you have any questions about some exercise, we'll see if we can get a heads up on them now so that we can get them answered. We only have about a minute left before we start going live, where you can actually see us, which may or may not be a good thing. But
Asia.
We got a whole list of 20 exercises to inform you on. If you're doing them, change them or maybe delete them from your program. All right.
Ottawa?
Lisa from Lexington, Kentucky. I've never been there either.
Sue from the Roman Empire.
Oh, very good. San Francisco.
Oh, Sue, you too.
Yvonne.
It's a fun name.
I wonder if it's San Francisco. Does it rain a lot there? I don't think so. Pretty nice.
If anyone has any physical therapy questions you want to ask in the first 5 minutes or so while we're letting people join after this countdown, feel free to ask them. We'll try to answer them the best we can. But after that, we're going to be staying on topic of 20 exercises that could possibly be harming you and how to do them correctly. And I just smucked a little bit. Hi, TikTok. I'll say hi to TikTok.
Oh, yeah. They see us yet?
It's running.
They actually can see us on the TikTok. Yellow. You're probably wondering why Mike.
The two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
It's just something for fun. I'm gonna get safe here.
Ready? We're starting. Bang.
Oh,
We're here.
that's something different. You know, you get bored. Anyways, yeah, let's go on. Oh,
That's an exercise you shouldn't do. Hit each other in the head.
There you go.
Yeah, CTE. Yeah. Anyway.
So keep in mind that these exercises are based on the majority of our viewers, which happen to be, 40, 50 and older. And also they're controversial. Some of them are, whether they're good or bad. And we'll explain why we think they're bad. And if you're an athletic young person, there's going to be a number of them. You're going to say, I can do those all day long and all night long, and it doesn't bother my body, and I'm going to keep doing them. That's just fine, because things change when you get older. So that's how we pick these out, is with that in mind. So Mike, what are you thinking about?
I'm just looking at some of the questions there. R.I.P. Brad. No, Bob. Brad's right here.
Yeah.
Don't.
You can't see
don't
Bob,
disappear.
but he's here. All right. There. Oh, we got a
exercises for knees, please.
Yep.
That rhymes.
Yep. Knees.
Exercises for well, there's lots of exercises for knees. We're actually going to be talking about some that could be controversial within this video. A lot of the exercises for knees just depends upon what your issues are specifically.
Right. What your goals are, what your present body condition is. If you have some arthritis existing in your knees, it's going to change of how you're going to do the exercises versus if your knees are completely pain-free. So we'll talk about that with each exercise. It's that's the way life is. Everything the recipe fits the person. It's not broadband for everyone. And that's how exercising is.
How much, Danny? I'm stealing the mouse. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
How much does diet help with these exercises? Well, we're not nutritionists, but
diet's
typically,
important.
if you eat better quality foods, whatever that may be, and less processed, you'll probably feel better and perform better. I know personally I do, and Brad can talk from experience as well. So that's about as much detail I'm getting into that.
Yeah,
it's hammer time. See, they want it back.
Well, don't get me when I'm not expecting it.
Luckily, it's very cushioned. This is kind of fun. I'm just going to hold this the whole video. And every time we do something bad, we just get bopped in the head. Which is better, massage or exercise? Well, they do completely different things. So,
well, it all depends on how you look at it. Massage relaxes the muscle, increases circulation. Exercise works the muscle and increases circulation. So, it depends on how we're going to look at things here and what perspective. I like getting a massage. I just don't get one very often. My wife doesn't want to, and I'm not willing to pay for one.
Well, that's why we have massage guns. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ellie's wondering about strength training exercises and what's safe. That's what we're covering today.
Yep.
So the ones we're going over, we're just going to show some that can be controversial, why, and then what you can do instead. If you could do them and they don't cause pain, like Brad said earlier, that's fine. You could certainly do them.
Sure. I know the first one we're going to cover is traditional sit-ups or crunches, and why you may not want to do those.
Yeah, we're actually referencing Stuart McGill, who's much smarter than us on
plenty
he's
of
one
research.
of the top back pain researchers. I was going to say in the country, but he's in Canada technically. So.
Well, yeah, this side of the world. And actually worldwide.
IT band syndrome. We're not really addressing that a whole lot today, unfortunately.
But, we just got a letter from, what was that, Tanner? We just got a letter, handwritten letter from a 70-year-old woman from California.
Oh, yeah.
And her knee was so bad, she was considering a knee replacement. She got reference to some of our videos for IT band stretching. She started to do them just thinking nothing can go wrong. It can't make it worse. And within a week, her knee started feeling better. She actually canceled her knee replacement and now is walking around without an assisted device, no cane, no walker. And she was very grateful. It was very nice that she did write us that letter.
Yeah.
And it's nice to get a handwritten letter,
I can't recall her name. Did you bring it with you?
Actually, the letter is at home on my desk.
Oh,
but I'm keeping. I apologize. I should have brought it in, but
I can't remember.
I had to remember to bring in the big.
It was
hammer.
it was cursive. double spaced, everything. It was like 3 pages.
Very neat writing. And yeah, so it is nice to get that. And we do get those handwritten letters. It's not the first one we've gotten. It gives us encouragement and gratefulness to continue on with our information.
Or a can you show best exercises for partial shoulder supraspinatus tendon tear? Well, you're gonna have trouble with abducting your arm out to the side like this if it's your supraspinatus.
Yeah, actually, we've got a shoulder exercise that you shouldn't be doing coming up. So can we get on with the first one?
I guess we can. It's been 5 minutes, so we could start going on with the first one, but that's about abdominal exercises.
We're going to start out with Stuart McGill researched exercises, and he's recommended not to do this. So
bang,
let's go ahead and do it.
You do not need a hard hat for any of these.
Oh no,
you even brought your. What are you going to cut down a tree
Yeah,
or
that's
something?
for another video. Whoa, you are really being
Good thing it's a hard helmet.
Today.
Anyway, the first one we're going to talk about is a pretty common exercise, and that is the crunch.
Or the traditional sit-up. People my age, we're going to...
The crunch is the Timberwolves mascot's name, but anyway.
Well, you show the crunch, and then we'll show the other one that's...
So most people... I think know what a crunch is. You crunch all the way up and then you go all the way down. They can be this way where your feet are fixed on something. They can be this way where you're up and you're really rounding your spine. Now, this does strengthen your abdominal muscles. It actually strengthens all of them and your hip flexors, so it is a core workout. But it does put a lot of pressure on your spine when you are flexing it that hard, especially if you have weight. You're going to be adding even more compression to those discs. And Stuart McGill actually says it can put 730 pounds of pressure on your discs. So if you're young and your discs are very pliable, you probably don't notice this. But if you're older, most of us probably have some type of disc issue starting. You may actually experience some back pain from it.
Right. And then also some people do that variation. They put the hands behind the head and then they pull their head forward. That can be hard on the neck. A lot of neck flexion. And you're actually, some people will pull, and I've done it myself. You're trying to get the sit-up done. So you kind of help with your head, and that can cause a neck problem. So that exercise is much better options.
Now there is a exercise Stuart McGill has called the McGill curl up, I believe is what he calls it.
Yep.
So you still kind of do a crunch essentially, but you leave one leg bent and you can have one leg straight out on the mat like this. And what you do is you still crunch up, but all I'm basically doing is lifting my shoulder blades off the mat and my head is just going towards the ceiling. I'm not rounding forward. And then I come back down and you go nice, slow, and controlled. You're still isolating the abdominal muscles and you are keeping your spine in a nice neutral position. So if you're having a lot of back pain and you still want to do some sort of crunches, this is the alternative you can try. And you can switch legs, do either way. But yeah, it's just a good option you can try instead.
That's right. So this is taking the pressure off the spine that Mike brought up, those the big numbers of compression. If you do have problems with osteopenia, some bone density issues, this would be a good way to work the core without stressing the vertebra and having increased risk for that kind of injury. What about put your legs down and do the old-fashioned sit-ups? When I was in school, and then go all the way back, this is the way we had to do sit-ups for the presidential award. I think we had to do like 20 or 50 or something like that in a minute or 2 minutes, and you get the little patch. Everyone wanted the patch, and this is certainly something you want to avoid. It really puts a lot of stress on the low back of the lumbar spine. So do the exercise that Mike had just explained. All right.
Next one is a variation of a crunch, and that's a twisting or a Russian twist. I don't know. They have lots of different names. But basically, you're still doing a full crunch, and you're adding some rotation components to it. So you're still getting that compression force, plus you're adding a twisting force, which can be even more problematic if you're having a lot of back pain. Not saying it's not still going to strengthen your abdominal muscles. It will, but if you have back pain, it's not going to feel very good.
And some people come up and do the double twist.
What's a double twist?
1, 2, and then go down. Think that
Oh.
way you get both both oblique muscles, the right side and the left side, but it actually it will do a little more twisting on that lumbar spine while under load. I think way I understand it as well, if you're in one of those abdominal machines you sit in and you can put your arms in there and there's a rest there, and then you're pushing and twisting against a load through a cable system. That's another one that you could avoid if you want to do not injure your
So
back.
if you really want to work your obliques, they're kind of your side abdominal muscles here. You can just do a side plank. It's an isometric hold. It keeps your spine in a nice neutral position while strengthening your core. If you're really new to it or beginner, you would start on your elbow and your knees like this. If you are more advanced, you can go to doing a standard one like this. Just make sure you're in a nice line. A lot of people, if they're weak, their butt will shoot back and they'll be like this. So first, be good motion on your knees, then go on your legs. And typically you just do it for time. You can do 15, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you can tolerate. If you want to get fancy later on, you can start doing some other holds, but that's more advanced.
People my age, that ain't going to happen. Actually, I can do that, but it bothers my back. Any exercise that creates back pain, you need to stop doing it because your body's talking to you. There's another way to strengthen the muscle without the pain. That one he talked about, the side plank, because I have spondylolisthesis, is not comfortable, and I had to quit doing those years ago. But it's not a big deal because there are other options, and we'll get into some of those as well.
Now, the next exercise is definitely something for younger people. I used to do them when I played football. A lot of athletes do it. It's burpees, or CrossFit people or group fitness classes. A lot of them do this.
But for us, don't worry. There are options to make it easier and make it doable, but we'll show you.
I don't know the last time I did a burpee, but we'll see if I could do it still. They don't bother me, but a burpee is the thing where in football, we had to run in place, and we had shoulder pads and helmets, so you could kind of hit the ground pretty hard, and it wouldn't bother you. But you would drop down to the ground, and then you bring your feet in and jump back up, and then you'd run in place again. Burpees and CrossFit are the same thing. They just drop down, come in, and go back up. It is a full-body workout, but it's pretty challenging for people that are 60 plus.
It's aggressive, yeah. And it can be hard on the low back, and this is one of those exercises that you talk to someone who's athletic and young and they'll say do burpees all day long because they're a good exercise, full body. What do we know? But I can tell you they're hard to do, and if you do them real slow, you could go like this. That might be an option. But you still get a lot of flexion in your low back, which we're trying to avoid, particularly if you had a herniated disc in the past or you have any sciatica issues. But you can go to a solid cupboard, okay, or a countertop. Go down to here, pop up, come back up, and to here. It's a mini burpee. It's not real aggressive. And you might even say it doesn't look like anything, but it's working your arms. You get out to here, you work your way back up, and you can do them like this if you're feeling up to it. And I guarantee you, you're going to get abdominal work. You're going to get leg workout. You're going to get shoulder workout. Your heart rate will come up. You'll get fatigued. If you don't, go down and do the other ones if you want.
I wonder where the name burpees came from.
Well, because you burp when you do
it. You just belch when you do that too much. Anyway, the next exercise, the exercise itself is actually good. It's fine. It's just if you do it incorrectly, it can cause a lot of problems for some people. And that is a lunge. Now, the lunge, I think most people know what a lunge is, but I can just show it quick. You can do it in lots of ways. You can do stationary lunges where you stay in place and you just go up and down, one foot in front of the other. You can do walking lunges where you're literally walking around and just doing a lunge. There's also lunges where you stay in place and you just go one direction, whether that's forward, sideways, or backwards. These are all fine to do. They're actually good for single leg strengthening. But if you're doing them improperly and your knees tend to drift inward like this, you can put a lot of stress on your knee joint itself and your patella tendon. So if you're a person that squats or does a lunge and your knee starts shifting in like this when you go down, this is going to start putting a lot of stress on your knees and you're not engaging your glutes enough. So you need to start strengthening your hip abductors and your gluteus maximus in order to correct this.
There you go. So I think lunges are great for pretty much any age. If you're able to walk with good balance and go up and down steps, you can do lunges. You may not go real deep. I would suggest, if any concerns at all about balance, get a stick or a chair, hold on to it, put a hand on the wall. And you're just going to go out. Now, if you have knee problems and you find that bringing your knee past your toe and getting deep like this is uncomfortable, simply don't go that far. Just go down as far as it feels without pain, and then come back up. I like to alternate right, left. You can go right 10 times like this, or alternate. The reason I like to alternate, because it's more functional. It replicates how the body works when you're walking, when you're hiking, going up and down steps. But it really is up to you. And if you want to do the deep ones because you have no knee pain, go ahead. Did you mention about putting the pillow or the pad behind your?
No, you can put a pad down on the floor for your knee if you want. Like
Yeah.
Brad is going to show there. And then once he's done, I'll show if this is even too challenging. A good beginner way is just on the steps. So put a foot on the step and then bring your other leg back what you comfortably can. And then just start doing lunging that way. You can go forward. Again, let pain be your guide if you have sore knees. The further this leg is back, the more stretch you will get as well. But this is a good way just to start lunging. You can go down like this or forward and just work on that. Build it up eventually. You can start high, work your way down, and then all the way to the floor. But it's going to take some time. Like, this isn't going to happen in a day. It might take a few weeks, even a month, depending upon how your knees feel. One thing I wanted to mention, this probably isn't very applicable to seniors per se, but if you do have knee tracking issues and you're younger, which I've worked with in the clinic quite a bit actually, where their knees tend to go in, if you have something that you have to push against to go out while you're doing an exercise, whether it's a lunge or a squat, it's going to help you engage those glutes more, and it's going to teach you how to squat and lunge with better mechanics so you're not going in so much.
Oh, I think even some older people like to do that one.
Yeah, you would tie it up to something sturdy
Oh, yeah.
and then push it out like that, and then you can lunge down. But
Oh.
that's just a way. Or if you're doing squats, sometimes just put them around both legs, so it teaches you to push against the band as you squat down to shoot your legs out versus
Yeah.
going in.
Get those hip muscles working. That's a good for that lateral motion. Good stabilizer for the leg, knee, as well as the back. So yeah, kudos to that little gem. All right. Now I do want to mention, I'm seeing some people are asking advice after surgery and some very specific, and it's going to be hard for us to address those and stay on track. We'll do some if we can. So it's not that we're not seeing it. It's just as hard to incorporate without getting off on a tangent. So everyone gets the most out of this.
Why? Sorry, there's a question. I was just going to read it.
Oh.
Why does my lower back pain go away when I do leg presses on the machine, but not so much when I stretch the same muscles? Well, I don't know if your machine is your back on the floor and you go up, or is it straight? You're getting flexion.
Yeah, it's hard to know without visualizing exactly what kind of machine she's on and the stretch and how the stretch is being done. So I wish.
I'm guessing you feel better flexed though, because a leg press you're going to flex a lot. Your back is supported.
The back is being supported too.
Yeah.
I know for me, if I have back support when I do my leg stuff on a machine, I'm feeling better as opposed to.
They said they do lay back, but yeah, you still have a back support and you're getting back support while doing it. And then you're kind of flexing, so that's probably why.
We do have some exercises to avoid that might address how that person is doing the stretch. So that hopefully will be answered there.
Here, I'll put a nice comment for you. Lena says Brad looks like in great shape.
Oh, that's very nice.
I thought you'd be just showboating about that.
Now, what about?
Yeah, I saw that. That's what. So they're probably on a 45 degree or pushing up, but you're still going to get that flexion going into there. So I'm guessing they just like.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yeah, we can go on to the next one. If I
made a video on why it's pistol squats and why you should maybe not do them. And boy, was there a lot of comments. You don't know what you're talking about. Pistol squats are the best thing since wheat bread or oatmeal or something like that. And I explained in detail. I said it's a great exercise, super for your leg. But I can pretty much guarantee you, if you're 55 and older, chances are you are not going to try pistol squats unless you are really in good shape. I consider myself to be moderately in good shape. For my age, and I won't do them because they hurt my knee, and I don't think they're.
I
so
just
good for my
don't have
back.
the ankle mobility to do it.
Yeah.
I can do it if I hold on to something. I don't even know if I can do it well right now. I really need to hold on to something. when
It's
I
an
do.
aggressive exercise.
So you basically kick one leg out, and then you go all the way down, and then you get your butt. See, I can't even really do it. I need something very sturdy to hold on to, and that moves way too much.
Yeah, so it's here. You're going down
Yeah.
like this. So let me do it this way. Your knee is at the end range with a tremendous amount of stress on it.
And most people, like Brad too, like our ankles are tight, so our heels come up. Some
Yeah.
people can do it with their feet flat.
Yeah. And then you go back up. And if you have the strength, ability to do them without any pain, go ahead, keep doing them. But if you're trying to do them because someone said they're a really good exercise, which they kind of are, but they are putting a lot of stress on the knee and the back.
A lot safer way to do
and the
it
ankle.
Is actually just to a chair.
There you go.
So if you want to do the one leg and you have the good balance and the strength, just sit slow to a chair and then go up and go down real slow and make sure your knee doesn't go in or out too much. But this is a good way to do it. If you're not steady and you can't do it, then what you can do is stagger your feet. So one foot is back more and one foot is forward. Use your hands if needed, and you're going to push more with this back leg. But it's a good option and you feel safe. You're not going to get as much range of motion. If you want to progress it and you feel steady, you just go to a lower surface over time. Say if you're a younger person, and you could do it that way and just work your way towards lower objects with it.
Yeah, that's an excellent option for pistol squats. I remember once I was with my niece, and she was about 35 years old, and she could just whip those things off. It was just amazing. It's great if you can do them, but
Michael says the knees over toes guy might be helpful to you too. I've interviewed him twice. So yeah, I know who he is. Actually, I do some of his exercises, but my ankle mobility is from old injuries, and needless to say, it's not really coming back no matter how much I've mobilized and stretched it, but I keep working on it. So, but yeah, no, I do his exercises. I think they're good. Bob interviewed him once. I interviewed him once.
Yeah.
He even talked about, one time we talked about what his mother does, who's in her 70s.
Right. Yeah, he's a wonderful addition to the exercise and fitness community. But you'll see when he talks about going knees over toes, if there's pain associated with it, it's a progression that takes weeks to work through. And depending on your arthritis issues, you may or may not be able to work through it. But for sure, you can work through it. And the old adage that, when you bend down, don't let your knees go past your toes because the pressure does increases and in the end causes potential problems. He says, there is excessive pressure in the knee or more pressure in the knee when you go past the toes, but it's okay if your body is trained for it or it's just naturally able to take that stress.
The next exercise is talking about squatting, which is a fine exercise.
Oh,
yes. Very deep squatting. Some people genetically just have really good makeup of their femur anatomy, their pelvis, and they can go, not trying to curse, so I'll say butt to grass.
Yeah.
You can fill it in yourself.
In other words, all the way down.
Yeah, and they can keep their feet flat on the ground and do it well. I have friends that can do it. They have very good mechanics, and they have no problems at all or pain. So that's what they do. But however, like some people have injuries, tight ankles, tight backs, whatever it is. So squatting all the way down can be problematic for some of those people. There are ways to do it. Otherwise, just start with partial range of motion is a good option. What are you doing?
Well, yeah, I think a good way to start is just use a chair. If you can squat down to here, all the way down, feels good, completely pain-free. You can do 10 to 15 and you want to challenge yourself more, go down a little bit lower. You might take the chair away if you feel like you have good balance. People 60 and above or 55, depends on your activity level. You may not want to go past the chair, and that's perfectly fine. You get excellent exercise going down to that level. If you do want to go, make sure you have something balanced. You can go to a wall and squat down. For me, I'm okay, except for when I go to full end range knee flexion. It's a little uncomfortable, and it's like I have no reason to exercise this way because I don't do anything in my life that requires that range of motion with a lot of strength. So I like to keep mine functional, no pain here, muscle fatigue after a while, that's good. Joint pain, no good.
Now, if you're younger or you just have good motion and you want to work on your depth and you're like me and watching me squat. So here's my normal squat, it's about as low as I get with the weight in front of me. Now, my ankles are what is my limiting factor here. So what you can do is elevate your heels. So I what? My squat again? So you squat and I get down here and my ankles are my limiting factor right now. I can't go so much knees over toes. So what you could do is prop your heel up on something. You can use a book, a 2x4, a little less aggressive, or this is just a slant board. And now you can see how much easier I can get in a low squat with good form. That's how you know your ankles are your limiting factor. So sometimes a slant board is a good option if you're trying to work on your full knee range of motion. This is a Ben Patrick exercise I learned.
Yeah. If you do a slant board, make sure you got one with really good grippy surface, and you're going to use your shoes.
This
Don't
is almost like
barefoot.
sandpaper on here.
It is, yeah, and it works well. It makes a big difference
I can
on your
squat down with full motion, no problem.
Yep.
And oftentimes, if you have a counterweight too in front of you, if you tend to tip backwards, it can help. But obviously, if you're an older person and that's bothersome, you don't have to go that low.
All right. I'm trying to look at any other questions here that maybe we can answer. But the next one is going to be another one from Stuart McGill, an exercise that actually we used to promote on this channel years ago, and then we start reading his information in his study, and we still do it, but we do it modified. It's the Superman exercise, really good to strengthen the back muscles, particularly low back, which, remember, actually that's part of your core. People think a core means abdominal muscles. It means the muscles from the back all the way to the front.
And your hip flexors and your butt.
The buttocks, yes.
So I'll show it because Brad's back problems, he doesn't like this. And
if you have stenosis, you may not want to do this one.
So it's the one, it's just body weight. Your arms and feet go up at the same time, and you do an isometric hold. I'm working my back extensors. This personally doesn't bother me right now, but it can be problematic for some people. It puts a lot of compression forces into extension on your low back and actually jams your facet joints in. So I'm guessing that's why it hurts you, because it's compressing.
Yeah, that stenosis. I don't have much
room.
Joint. Much room in there, anyways. And you compress it together under a lot of force, and it's no good. So it's not good for me.
You could just do arms, or you can do one arm and the other arm. Honestly, if I were going to do this, I'd rather just do a bird dog anyway, because it's the same concept almost, but it's not an isometric hold.
Plus, you're working balance as well.
Yeah. So a bird dog is another Stuart McGill exercise. So you go on all fours. If you can't get on your hands and knees, Brad can show a version on the wall. It's just not as much balance. And you go opposite arm, opposite leg out at the same time, and then come back. It really works on your balance and your core strength. Kind of does everything the Superman does, but it's not necessarily an isometric hold. You can hold it for longer. If that's too challenging, you can just do one limb at a time. That's fine. Otherwise, if it's too easy, some people can do same side, which I cannot really do without shifting really bad and falling over. So that's much more advanced. I guess if I put my hand more in the center and then do it, I can go okay with it. But that's the bird dog. You could do 10 reps on each side, but you want to show on the wall?
Yeah. Another real nice way to do that. Oh, we've got stuff in the way. Just a hammer. We'll get rid of that.
Ow!
A chair. We'll get rid of that. How is that?
Better?
Okay. All right. So 2 hands on the wall, feet here. Take the left hand, thumb like you're hitchhiking up there. Then the opposite leg. and kick back without flexing the knee. Keep the knee straight while you do this, and do those at the same time. This is a great posture exercise. It gets things working, strengthens them back muscles. And when you do a alternating arm and leg, it really does a complete back exercise when you do both of them like this. And make sure your head's not dragging down. We want to keep the head up, chin tucked in, and work them and breathe. Oh, yeah. When you breathe and you learn how to breathe relaxed when you exercise, you'll find that you can extend the amount of exercise, the length of time to it without becoming fatigued. And it's a great thing. I remember before I learned how to breathe when I exercise, I'd get so tired so fast. And I look at other people like they're not even hardly breathing. Half of it was because I was out of shape. The other half was because I was breathing really shallow, and it cuts the oxygen off to the muscles. The muscles cannot work, and they get tired very quickly. Just a side note on that one. Anyways.
Big Kahuna asked, how long do you hold? I'm not sure which exercise that
How long
was
you
or
what?
when that was. How long do you hold? I'm guessing that was a plank or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Typically things that you hold are anywhere
bird dog. Bird dog's more repetitions versus
10 to 30 seconds. Whatever works good. When it starts to fatigue, stop.
Big Kahuna asked what happened to Bob. Well, unfortunately, Bob passed away. So there's a video all about it on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
And Matt's son is much more better at telling what happened than I am.
Yeah,
so.
It was last Wednesday. The funeral is Saturday. So, yeah, it's pretty new. So if you're not aware of that, you can go to see that. What is it? It's a thumbnail, and it says
"We'll miss you, Bob" on the thumbnail.
Yep, there you go. That's the one. It's about 10 minutes
long.
Says
good. It's called "Goodbye, Bob: A Life That Changed Millions."
There you go.
The next. Where are we? The next.
We're going to shoulders now.
Single leg step ups. We got step ups first.
Oh, sure enough. Well, excuse me if I just don't want to barge into your space.
So this exercise is actually a good exercise we teach in therapy. It's just more or less making sure you're doing it correctly is the big key for this one.
So if you get right in line, I'm going to demonstrate, and we already talked about this once, but it's worth repeating. If you're doing step-ups, good exercise, good tall posture. A lot of people will, kind of go like this and not be aware of this slouched forward posture. We need to get up tall, shoulders back. So you promote good posture, good core strength, suck it in, tighten it up and down. And then look at the knee. The knee should be lined up this way with the toes. But what'll happen, and this happens commonly without being aware of it, watch my knee now. I'm going to keep my hand there. Goes up, and it makes that arc, and this is really makes the knee, it's a compromised motion, puts the knee at risk for injury. It's one of those things that won't happen just like that, but if you do this time after time for a few weeks in a row, you could literally be wearing your knee joint out, particularly if you have early arthritis. This can accelerate it. So just start out, knee here, keep an eye on it, up and down. I'm on the first step. If it's too easy, you can go to the next step. Something for balance is critical if you need it. That's why I got the stick up, and we're not doing this. That's way over here and down, up and down. Be honest with you, most people in my age group, one step is all you're going to need. Sometimes I do it this way with people. Go grab the handrail. If these are, we'll go over here. Grab the handrail, hear that good posture, watch the knee so it doesn't go out to the side. Up here, touch the toe and come down. Now, this is a nice little trick I always talk to people. If you really want good mechanics, lift your toes off the ground so you're on your heel. Off the ground, and I'm going to push up and down and touch my heel first. That makes a big difference on this leg. This is much harder on my quadriceps than if you inadvertently push off with your toes, touch with your toes, and then come back down. You start out this way is good. After you work on it for a while, go to this would be the next step of intensity. Ooh, yeah, right there. I can feel it.
Michael commented about started walking. He's 61. He can walk for miles, but he wanted to strengthen his knees. Just do what we just showed. Just do it correctly. That's a good knee strengthener.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Step
yeah, that one. I think the lunges.
Lunges is all these are just as long as you're doing them with good form are
Yeah.
fine to do.
Exactly.
Someone asked if we're gonna show any Tai Chi exercises. We're not very well trained in Tai Chi, but I did interview someone who has a Tai Chi book and channel, and
Yeah.
you could find it on our podcast channel if you want to find out more about that.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting.
I got my black belt, second degree black belt in American Taekwondo, but that style is very different to Tai Chi. So I've done some Aikido. That's a little closer to Tai Chi, but even that's different. So sorry, it's a good way to exercise as far as I understand, and a little bit that I know
Balance
about
and
it.
breathing and meditation.
Oh yeah.
Please teach us to breathe properly when exercising. It could benefit many of us.
Ah ha ha! I love that
Now,
question.
this is a catch-22
What do
in
you
certain
mean?
ways. If you're just generally working out, make sure to keep breathing during your exercises. If you're going to be a power lifter, you
Mike.
actually learn the Valsalva maneuver to intake more and engage more. But we're not talking about powerlifting today.
If he had any amount of martial arts training, you wouldn't make a statement like that. I mean, it's true, but there's a lot to breathing. In the nose, out the mouth, relaxed body. Actually, that's what I was referring to before when I used to spar, where you fight with someone, but you don't beat them up. You do kicking. I used to not breathe when I do that because I was afraid I was going to fall, I was going to get kicked, I was going to get punched, which doesn't happen unless you got a mean person, and they don't last long. But anyways, once I learned how to breathe while I was moving and keeping here relaxed, what happens in my experience is if the upper body is tight because you're trying so hard, and this goes with running as well. People are running and they're tight up here. That constricts the rib cage because all these muscles are connected around the rib cage, and the rib cage is constricted. It doesn't allow it to expand out and contract, which is what happens in healthy breathing, as well as the stomach should go out and come back in. Now in America, we don't do that because you got to keep your stomach in for that aesthetic posture. But when you breathe properly to get maximum air in and exhalation, let things expand, including letting the stomach out, then breathe in, and then that'll help push things out. So it's one of the things you need to work on. But typically, and Mike, I think you would agree with this, even with your background as being a little different than mine. Let's say we're doing push-ups. We're going to breathe. We're going to exhale as we push out.
Yep.
And then
When
breathe in as we go this way. So
the concentric movement of any exercise, you usually exhale a bit, or with the eccentric part.
yeah. So give an example.
The problem is they're also different. I mean, little single joint exercises like this, I'm just going to breathe normal doing a bicep curl. This isn't very hard. But if I'm doing a bench press, usually I'm inhaling on the way down, and I kind of hold it, and I actually hold a little bit on the way out, and then I exhale. So the squat's kind of the same thing. As I'm going down, I make sure I have a good breath in, and then as I'm coming up, I exhale out. Deadlifting is kind of a similar thing. On the hard pull, I'm like kind of holding and stabilizing, and then I exhale hard. But that's just more for heavier lifting, lighter lifting stuff. I just breathe normally. Running, I often, if I'm supposed to run easy, I breathe through my nose most of the time.
Yeah.
And if I'm running hard, supposed to do hard, then obviously I'm going to start breathing through my mouth. But it's more relaxing, and you engage your diaphragm, and oftentimes your heart rate stays lower if you're going in through your nose.
Exactly. And so you just need to work with your body. Depends on, like he mentioned, on your activity. Are you using resistance? Anytime I'm doing an exercise with bands, it's not heavyweight, but if I'm doing this pull across, I'm breathing out. Well, I'm pushing, breathing in here, breathing out. And just making sure you're breathing. When I run, I specifically think about my fingertips being touching. So I'm not making tight fists, because if your fists get tight, everything upstairs will follow. So if I keep my fingertips and my forearms loose, it helps me maintain a loose upper body. Sometimes, I don't know about you, Mike, when I run, I'll coordinate. I'll take, when I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, that'll be an exhale. And then so I'll time my cadence with my breathing.
Yeah, sometimes I do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lost in what I'm listening to, or if I'm running with someone, I'm talking, so I don't
Yeah.
pay as much attention. But
Yeah.
yeah, it does get mundane to keep thinking about it. Once you figure it out, it'll come naturally, and you
Yep.
don't think about your breathing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yes, early on, make sure you're not holding your breath the whole time.
Yeah.
We should get some more exercises because we're already 40 minutes into this.
Holy mokers.
So the next one I'm going to talk about is shoulder exercise. So overhead pressing. Now most people, if you've had some like pretty serious shoulder injury in the past and it kind of hurts to reach overhead already, you're not going to overhead press anyway. There are plenty of other shoulder exercises you can do without going above head. Personally, I have hurt my shoulders a couple times doing overhead stuff with certain exercises. Another time was just a sports injury. I landed on my shoulder weird, but I still strengthen overhead. However, I don't do it. You have to really work on your form and understand where you're going. So a lot of people used to do way out to the side and go up above head. And this is very uncomfortable for me. I do not like doing this exercise. If I go overhead, I bring it in really close. This is called scaption plane. I'm closer to my body. And I can go right up like this. This is not problematic at all. On a machine at my gym, I can do it. It has nice handles. I have a nice neutral grip like this. I'm not rotated out. I'm in here like this. And I go up and it doesn't bother me at all. If I'm out here trying to do it, my shoulders don't like it. So I just avoid that. It's the same with military pressing. Normally you want to get closer grip. It's a lot harder to do. And if you have one shoulder that's more problematic than the other, the problem is you're on a fixed bar.
Yeah.
It doesn't move as well. So if you have shoulder problems, oftentimes a free weight or a band can be better to strengthen it. Otherwise, if that's problematic at all, Brad, you just want to show other options, especially if you've had shoulder surgery. It's good to do a lightweight above head just because you want to still reach into the cupboard and grab stuff and be able to hold, something light and functional. But there's different ways to strengthen it without being more problematic to your old injury.
Right. If you've got a shoulder problem, particularly impingement, which is a great percentage of shoulder problems, most therapists are not going to give you a dumbbell. Probably all therapists, if I probably put some money on that, and start doing this. I like Mike's suggestion. Even when you're lifting things to do a cupboard, instead of reaching out like this, get a little closer if you can, hand in here, and then reach up for those functional movements. A lot of exercises. I don't do anything overhead with my shoulders, just because I don't have any reason to get strong, and I don't care if I get
boulder shoulders.
What?
Boulder shoulders.
Yeah, that's not my rep.
I like my boulder shoulders yet, but
Right.
there's a lot of different shoulder exercises.
I usually work exercises that promote posture, so I'll use bands. And you don't have to use bands; just do this without bands is good, or lying on your stomach. And I'm thinking about back like this, and then I go up at this level, and I find that now my right shoulder bothers me when I bring my elbows out. So I pull down and do the same thing. There's no pain at all. So again, listen to your body. But these exercises are great for posture, good for your shoulders. And again, I just don't do exercises overhead. If you want to, you can. If it doesn't create pain, if it creates sharp kind of pain in your shoulders, you're just beating up your joint and it's not going to help you out.
Some other options are just front raises. You can do a dumbbell or a band, whatever you have available, or a cable. So I'm just going to parallel with my shoulder. I'm not going any higher.
Yep.
And then you can go out to the side. So keeping a straight arm slightly out to the side like this. This is going to be another option. And then you can do dumbbells, but you have to bend over, but oftentimes I just grab a band, and I like this one where you just squeeze the back of your shoulders together and you hit every direction your shoulders move and you're not going overhead. So this is a good option as well. I only actually go overhead strengthening one day a week, and the rest of my shoulder exercises I do the other 2 days. I never go overhead, so I don't do a bunch of overhead stuff. I just do it once in a while because I find it important to still like reach up, and I want those boulder shoulders,
All right, we better carry on here. Bent over rows.
Yes, a bent over row is a back strengthening exercise. It strengthens your core. It stretches your hamstrings. It actually does a lot.
Yeah.
But if you do it with bad form, it can be very problematic. Brad is showing it right now, but Tanner's on my face.
So a lot of people do this with dumbbells or a barbell with weight.
Yeah.
And I don't do this one because it's hard on my back. And
Yeah,
it
it puts a lot of stress on your back. If you have back problems, it's not very good. Obviously, if you're a young athlete and like you have to do a lot of deadlifting or whatever, it's an exercise. If you have really good form and posture, you can do. I used to do it all the time, but now I don't like doing it anymore as I've gotten older. Because there's lots of ways to still hit the same group without being in this position.
So the proper form, you're going to arch your back and bend the knees slightly, hinge at the hips, and to do all these things,
you pull towards your stomach, basically.
Yeah. And, definitely feels better this way. But it's still my back, 62 years old. It's got beaten up a little bit, and that just beats it up more. There's no real functional reason. I do other exercises using the round physio ball. Doesn't stress the back, but it works those muscles very well.
Yeah, a lot of times too, if you have dumbbells, if you just have one arm supported and do one side at a time,
yes,
this is usually pretty good for most people. You can also just do a cable machine with a rowing idea. I often will lay on a bench at an angle with dumbbells so my chest is supported, and I'll do it that way. So I have a really good support system. Or you can just do banded wall ones. If you have bands instead. This is like what I do on a cable machine at the gym. But you're sitting down normally and you're still hitting the same groups. Obviously, you're not having to stabilize your core as much, but you're getting those big back muscles. So those are just some other options that literally do the same thing.
We haven't talked about ankle sprain exercises, and I'm not sure it wasn't on our agenda because that's pretty specific to an injury, but maybe we can get to that. I'm not sure if we're going to have time. So
because it's not really a thing we avoid. Long arm quads.
Yeah, so, this is a very popular exercise and controversial in the research as well as with therapist's opinion, I guess. But a long arc quad or knee extension, sitting in a firm chair, you simply kick out and go back down and kick out and go back down. Now, I took a course of arthritis of the knee, and they said, don't do this exercise, particularly if you add weight. It stresses the bottom side of the kneecap or the patella, which is a common area for knee arthritis to develop. So here I have 3-pound weight, which adds, it's way out there on a long lever arm. They're saying not to do this. And, if you want to do it and you do it, it creates no pain. You don't really have any knee arthritis. I guess it's okay. I'd rather do a lunge myself. I think it's a little more practical. So be cautious with long arc quads. If you've got any arthritis, you're not going to do it with any weight for sure. You're just going to do it just enough to get it moving, not a lot of repetitions, just to get the synovial fluid moving in the joint, get it moving so that you can get up and continue walking.
We do want to bring in a video clip from an older video to talk about a few stretches or exercises from an old Bob and Brad video so we can all see Bob again. So I think we're going to cut to that.
Yeah, there's actually 3 exercises. It'll go relatively quick. It's going to talk about, what are they again?
Toe touches, windmills, and leg raises.
Oh, that's right. The old toe touches, the windmills, and double leg raise. You can show how to do them not so good, and he'll show how to do them more properly.
Excuse me.
All right.
Danny, roll the footage.
We're getting ready for the time tunnel retreat. Oh, that's right. Now TikTok.
Next one, again, not a big surprise here, Brad. This is toe touches. So you try to lean forward and touch your toes. It's a little better if you can keep your back straight and go down and go all the way down, but it's really just not good for your back.
There are so many other better alternatives, and we do have videos on those too. We're not going to talk about them now, but we do. And maybe we should make some more, but yeah, that's
the whole thing with toe touches. What are you trying to accomplish? One, you're trying to stretch your hamstrings usually,
right?
But a lot of people are trying to stretch their low back, and you don't want to stretch your low back like that. You want to keep it stable and like a good solid core,
right?
So next one kind of falls along the same line as the windmill. You have people doing toe touching like this,
right?
And now you're bending and twisting, which is even harder on your back. So it's harder on the disc.
Right. And again, there's argument if you keep your back straight and you hinge at the hips, it's
vast majority of people aren't going to be able to do it correctly.
Right,
and even if they do, it's still a lot of torque if you think about the physics of it. You're putting the I don't know, you were a physics guy, but it's a lot more stress on the low back.
Right.
So,
You know, I agree with all that, Bob.
okay. Next one too.
Oh,
Little bit controversial, but again, there's an easier way to do it. Is a double leg raise. So I'm down like this, and I'm lifted up like this. It just puts too much torque. Great way for working the core,
Yep.
but too much too much torque on the low back.
right.
Now, alternative is you put your hands underneath here to give you some support to the low back,
Right.
and instead of doing double, just do single ones, going back and forth like this. I do these all the time.
Yeah, the bicycle ride.
Yeah, the
kind of a
bicycle
thing.
ride.
Right.
I even do a little bit of head going up like this at the same time.
Sure. Right.
That's a good workout.
Yep.
That'll work the front abdomen, the abdomen, and it'll start to stabilize that core.
Do you exercise like this at home or?
In a tie, yeah. I like to always look good when I'm working out. I'll go to the gym and I'll work out like this with my shirt on.
I just say that because we get comments.
Sometimes I wear a full suit. I like to wear a tux even. So
You're killing me, Bob.
remember, Brad and I are not just pretty.
We're pretty ugly.
No, we're pretty helpful.
killing
And
me.
you want to subscribe to us. Thanks for watching.
Classic there.
I don't
Oh.
concur. I'm not pretty ugly.
Well, talking, that was, good thing we got you here to help bring that up a little bit. So, I don't know if there's any questions on that. I think he explained why not to do them, and a couple options, particularly the straight leg raise.
One person actually asked about sprinting and warming up beforehand, and I think that's something you put in this video.
Yeah,
later, didn't you?
actually, well, we got long seated
Hamstring
fingertip-
stretching.
Yeah, and then we'll get into that. We've got a really nice warm up for particularly people that are going to do things like pickleball. You're going to go out and start jogging. If you're going to go out and do sprinting, you can do this one, but maybe a little more depending on your level. But let's talk about doing this exercise, fingertips to toes, except for,
We're talking about in a seated position.
yeah, what Bob just showed was standing fingertips to toes. The mechanics of it are identical to if you want to stretch out your hamstrings doing this, except for you're in a seated position. So it does change things a little bit. But in general, there's a lot better ways to stretch your hamstrings than this because I'm arching my back the wrong way, flexing it. It's hard to keep your knees straight, so you isolate your hamstrings. You cannot breathe very well because you're all choked up in there. I would just not even do it. So let's just scratch that one. I don't have a way to modify that one, but there are other exercises, and we will get to that.
Well, you can just stretch your hamstrings easier.
Yeah. Well, this is the way I stretch my hamstrings. But if you do this and you keep your knee straight, which you must to isolate the hamstring, here is the big problem when people do a hamstring stretch on a step or a chair or whatever it is. Watch my back right here. I'm going to try to touch my toes or bring my nose to my knees. That's not the thing to do because when you do that, your back will round out, and the goal of touching the toe or touching the knee, nose to the knee, takes precedent. The back becomes rounded, and you're stressing your low back, and the hamstring is stretching. But if you do it like this, shoulders back, arch the back, you won't get near as far down to that goal of touching your toe, but you will get a much better stretch. I can feel my hamstring stretching much better now, and I'm only going down this far. So, and then people will bend their knee and do this and all that. No good. This has to be done properly. And this is really important to breathe. Breathe in and exhale. When you exhale, when you're stretching, that's the time to put a little more stretch on it, and your muscles will relax better when you're exhaling than when you inhale. So that's really important for that. All right. That's all I have to say about that information.
Well, the next exercise is talking about, are you talking about box jumps or just explosiveness in general?
Well, I wanted to talk about people if you're going to go out and running or sprint drills or
Sure.
playing tennis or pickleball. Make sure you do it with a little bit of a warm up, particularly if you're a little older, 55 and up, 50 and up. And I didn't want to go through the whole thing here, but yes. Mike's mic is off, so I get to talk. So actually, right here, I don't know. I think Chelsea's watching. If she can put a link to this video Bob and I made, it's about 3-minute hip and leg warm up before walking, running, or any activity. It's a really nice warm up. Good for anyone. If you're going to do high jumping or some really aggressive tennis, you'll probably want to do this one. Plus a little more, but this is a good start for most people my age for sure. And younger people, if you're just going to go out, jog, do some moderate level intensity activities. So let's do that. So I want to make sure that everyone's clear on that and they have an example. So I don't know. You think Chelsea's listening?
I think she's listening. I hope so.
Chelsea's at home right now, 100 miles away, but she does such a good job at helping us out with this for our viewers. So it should come up on the screen pretty soon, so you can just click on it and it'll go right to it.
Some of the other exercises we have listed here, we kind of already talked about, and we talked about leg pressing as well.
Yeah,
I think
go on.
We could talk about good mornings a little bit.
Good morning. Good morning.
So for people that don't know what a good morning is, the old school way is typically there's a barbell on your back like this. And then
Chelsea already put it up already.
There's a video.
So you can click on that one. It should get you right to that nice stretch.
So a good morning, you usually hinge forward with a flat back and you go down as far as you comfortably can, and then you come back up. This is a big back strengthening exercise. It will strengthen your muscles, but it puts a lot of pressure on your spine, especially if you're doing it rounded or a bad posture like this. So it's more of a hinge. Your butt goes back and you come down and then you come back up. Oftentimes people will overload it, start struggling. It's kind of like an awkward squat. So there's lots of other ways you can strengthen your back that don't put as much pressure on it. A really simple way to do it, if you still want to do a good morning, is actually just seated, and you bring your feet apart, and then you just have a nice neutral back, and you work on going towards the ground and then coming back up. You can grab dumbbells and hold on to them if that's too easy or light. It definitely works on your leg mobility, but you want to do it with a nice straight back. I'm not rounding forward like this. I'm keeping a straight back. Then I hinge down.
Oh, yeah.
And then I come back up. A kettlebell is a little higher than a dumbbell, but that's just a way you can do it. That's pretty easy. If you feel like this is too light of a load, you can do it seated with a barbell on your back. But again, you have to make sure you're keeping nice, good posture when you're doing it, going down and then coming back up. You're still getting the same option. Otherwise, there are some back extension machines, but again, with those, a lot of them, your feet get hooked in. And you kind of hinge forward. You just have to make sure you have them set up right for your body, and that you're only hinging with a flat back. Even like you can't go all the way down if you're rounding. Just stop where it's still flat and then come back up.
Yeah. I personally, if I want to strengthen that part of my back, and I do these on a ball, but you can do them on your hands and knees, is just work this exercise. Or do the bird dog that Dr. McGill really emphasizes, and that does work those back muscles, works balance. For a lot of people, this may be a good alternative, particularly if you don't want to get into the good mornings. It used to drive me nuts when my daughter was in high school. She was a pretty good track runner, and they'd have them do good mornings, and she had back pain, and the good mornings made her back worse. And I said, does a coach ask you to continue to do these? And I said, you can imagine what a parent's going to say to the coach when you're a physical therapist and your kid's coming home with a backache from good mornings. So as a 16-year-old active person, that it was bothering. So you don't do those if it bothers your back at all, because especially if you have any disc problems in the past, you could re-aggravate it. Or if you have sciatica and it makes it worse, you definitely stop doing it.
Yeah, I don't often do those. That's just a good way I kind of learned from Ben Patrick to do them on a chair.
Yeah, I think it is a good alternative, particularly if it doesn't bother you at all, and the other ones are too aggressive or you want to be extra safe.
Behind the scenes, Chelsea, do you want to pick a winner for our prize? So each week we give away something. Chelsea doesn't tell us what it is, so we don't know. But she will be in contact with you. Just make sure it'll come from the official Bob and Brad email, a customer service one. So just look for that, and we will reach out to you. She will announce the winner on screen here. You guys talked about RDLs. We have not talked about Romanian deadlifts. A lot of them is just all about form and technique. If you do them wrong, they are very hard on your spine. If you do them correct and hold the pressure the whole time, they're fine. Stuart McGill has worked with tons of power lifters talking about keeping form, keeping about neural tension and all this stuff. So a lot of it just comes down to, if you're
What's the Romanian deadlift?
You know what a deadlift is, right?
And what's the Romanian one?
There's just different styles.
Well, can you just
A
kind of
Romanian's
some people may not have a clue.
I don't have anything here to do Romanian deadlift
pretend.
one.
Can you use this
So
as a bar?
a stiff leg deadlift is where you literally just hinge forward and you go like this and your knees stay locked out. A Romanian deadlift is more of the typical deadlift where you're going all the way down and then coming up like this. A sumo deadlift is this. Deadlifts, as long as you have the good mobility, you can get in that range of motion, you know how to brace your core properly, are fine. The problem is if they go down and they start lifting up, and as they're lifting up, they start rounding more and more to pull it. This is where it gets really problematic and can cause pressure. As long as the posture you're in as you're going up, even if it's slightly rounded up top, stays the same the whole time, you're usually fine. But it's when you start pulling up and it's too heavy and you start doing this. So it's a lot of form and technique, and you want to take it slow. Oftentimes, dumbbells are a better option for beginners, or I would say something that kind of helps are a band. If you don't know how to hinge properly, a lot of people get confused what the heck hinging is. Just having a band set up somewhere. Brad, can you stand on the steps?
Oh, yes, I want to. All right.
So if you put a band at your waist level, and I need a weight, you're learning how to deadlift, this band will pull you and literally teaches you where to hinge. And then you go up. So it's pulling my butt back, and this teaches you the hinging motion, how to deadlift properly.
See, I'm going to use this so we know. Oops, sorry about the see how this is a good feedback for him to know if his back and everything is straight. Yeah, so the head's up. There's a gap here, which is okay there, and touching the sacrum at the same time. There we go. Yes.
But you don't want to start rounding like that. So
that's something I personally have no interest in doing because I think it's an excellent exercise, but I don't have any interest.
If you
in
don't do it and you're older, you don't have to start doing it.
Right,
There's plenty of other options.
Don't think you need to do some of these exercises because other people are doing it. You can make sure you get proper training so you can do it properly. Someone can actually watch you, because if you're not watching yourself or they don't have mirrors, it's just best to get a trainer and make sure you do it properly.
And it's really hard to do a deadlift and try to look in the mirror at the same time. So if you set your phone up though to the side and film yourself, it's a good way to see what you're doing wrong. So
I think we thoroughly answered that question about RDLs.
We have, and we've rambled very much. And someone says they missed the banter between you. I was watching a bunch of you and Bob videos the other day, and you two just really picked on each other, I will say.
Well, it was easy to do. I want to talk about plyometrics. And plyometrics, particularly when you get up to my age and that 60-year-old thing, you're probably not going to do them. They're pretty aggressive. Plyometrics mean like doing up and down like this is a plyometric for your calf muscles. Now, I actually watched a video, or I was watching a continuing ed on osteopenia or bone density problems, and a whole group of seniors with a physical therapist, well, they had a parallel bar, so they had something to hold on to, and she literally had them doing some bouncing up and down so their body would respond to that impact, a gentle impact with higher bone density, and that's the goal. So there are times when you can do that if you're older, but if you're older and you're doing a plyometric where you're doing these box jumpings, I don't know if I can hit the ceiling, up and down. This is aggressive. I don't do them. I probably could. My wife does them. She's 64 when she goes to the boot camp. This is exercise thing for young people, and she likes to keep up with them.
You're married to an older woman?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Is that a cougar? Yeah.
You're close enough.
Yeah, but she looks younger than me by far, so you know how it is. So plyometrics, great exercise, good for athletic people, good for burning calories, but you might pull a tendon right off the bone if you haven't done them before and you're older, or rip something. Good way to strain or stress something. Not necessary. You need to build up slowly to them. It's another video. So if you hear plyometrics and you haven't done them before, or you're older and you haven't done them especially before, just back off and say, no, thank you. Brad said no, thank you.
You might be able to answer this question. I do cycle sometime. My PT said biking is terrible for the urinary area. Is that true?
Ooh.
There can be some compression if you're like an avid cyclist doing hundreds of miles a day. Is a lot different than someone going out for a 10 to 20 mile bike ride a few days a week. So a lot of it depends on duration, the type of bike seat you have. Wear biking shorts, obviously that helps a lot. I have biking shorts. Brad does triathlons. I just bike periodically, but
yeah, I'm pretty avid. I bike 3 times a week, usually 20 miles each ride. I have a seat that has the center of it is hollowed out so that the prostate gland in that area, in the perineal area, in the crotch, actually takes pressure off of it, makes it more comfortable. So the seat that you get is critical if you want to become an avid biker. And you'll know, I had 4 different seats before the one that I have right now. The bike shop I went to was very good. He said, try this seat out. He wanted to make sure I was happy. Sometimes you'll get that service if you buy a more expensive bike. Otherwise, it's one of those things you just got to work with.
Yeah.
Comfortable seat.
We are back next week at 10 a.m. Central Time. What are we talking about again? Leg strengthening?
Leg.
For seniors or just?
I can't remember anymore. I come up with that. I can't remember anymore.
I think we wrote it.
Thing.
I think we wrote it in here.
I'm starting to lose my filter too.
You did say crotch.
Well, that was just a good way to pronounce.
20 best leg strengthening exercises for people over 55, and it's mainly going to be body weight stuff. That's what we're doing next week.
But you can be under 55, and these will be very good for you as well, particularly if you're a beginner. But if you're a high-level athlete, not so much.
Just add weight to them.
Watch anyways, click like and all that
stuff. We will be back next week, and someone from our team will be in contact with the winner for this. She didn't announce who it was, but
they could be winning like the cornucopia, the mound of pleasure, the whole
I
works.
just want to say hi to Beatrice because I always see her name on there.
Oh, Beatrice.
Hi, Beatrice.
She is just
she's an avid watcher.
Treat. What it says looking. What does that mean?
We're done. Okay, bye. Looking forward to next week. Looking forward to it.